And we welcome you back in the box. It's Willie Ramirez. Hey, we have not been with you for a couple of weeks, and it's probably an excuse, but for good reason. The Super Bowl happened to be played here, so I was a little bit busy, a little bit tied up, but we're jumping back into it with the focus now on the crunch time of the hockey season. And my first repeat guest in starting this In the Box project from New Jersey, Kristy Flannery. Kristy, how are you?
I am honored. Thank you so much. That's great.
I saw your tweet. You covered the first game of the Stadium Series. You covered the Devils and Flyers. And the first story you produced, I mean, you're working on stories, obviously covering the Devils, but I loved it. The story that comes out is talking about the Devils outfit. So I said, you know what? I got to get my girl on. We are going to rank the 8 teams that have been involved in 4 outdoor games. The outfits, why? Because, well, fans love lists. We all love lists and we love rankings. So why not put it to the test? And I think many of the people that are watching might have already figured out why the excitement. Of course, look at I had to throw on all the jewelry. You know what I'm saying? I brought my own props. They bring their own props. Oh, forget about it, Kristy. You know what I'm saying?
Accessories make the outfit. It could be a slice of pizza. It works.
I have to bring my own props with me. You know what I mean? The black tea. I don't have a guinea tea, but hey, forget about it. All right, so let's go over the teams real quick. We had earlier in the year Calgary and Edmonton. On New Year's, we had Vegas and Seattle. Mm-hmm. And then this weekend, we had the Devils and the Flyers, and then the Rangers and the Islanders. You and I are going to go through them. We're going to give our rankings. I have them in order here as far as my rankings. I don't know what yours are yet. You don't know what mine are yet. We're going to surprise one another. You said you may have to change here and there. That's fine. So let's start at the bottom, each of us, with number 8. Who is your number 8?
First off, this is my Joan Rivers fashion police moment. So I'm taking this very seriously.
Okay.
Number 8, you got to go with the Islanders because they literally just went as themselves. Zero creativity, zero execution. Nothing was there.
Yeah. Well, Lou was getting slammed on social media. The Islanders just walk in, suited up as if it was regular old game night. Hey, if that's cool, if you want to go business as usual, and hey, I get it. That's fine. But you're going to sink to the bottom of our rankings. Kristy and I both have you at number 8. Where are you at for number 7?
This is tough. But for me, when you do the outdoor game and you have the arrivals are part of it. And it's part to kind of showcase the player's personality, which is something that fans always want. So for that reason alone, I'm putting the Rangers at 7, doing the first responders. I think from like a sentimental spot, I think it's great that they did that. I think it's wonderful they did that collaboration. I love that they showed up with the fire trucks and everything. But if we're ranking outfits, it didn't have the creativity for me, but I respect what they did.
All right. I respect what they did too. I have them higher up on my list. I went for number 7. I went with Calgary, the Calgary Stampede. They showed up in overalls and cowboy hats. I get it. Nothing flashy, nothing glamorous. And part of the thing is it's really hard when you're the first game, right? It's something like this. You're the first one. It's almost like it takes me back to when my son competed in Taekwondo and he would be in a field of 32 for forms. You never wanted to be the first 2 out on the mat, the first 2 or first 4, one of the first 4 or 6, because then you got everybody else to upstage you. So it made sense. It's great. It was easily done. It seemed like it was just too easy. I got Calgary coming in number 7. Who do you got number 6?
Calgary. I gave them one more point, but I also have never been to Calgary, so I don't know what other theme they could go with, but I thought it was kind of surprising, especially when a lot of them didn't have shirts underneath the overalls. So I kind of like the shock value maybe a little bit. I think it was surprising. So I gave that one a little bit of a bump. They might have
been playing to the female audience a little bit, showing off a little skin, showing off some muscles, trying to flex the deltoids. I get it. Okay. Number 6 for you. Or excuse me. Number 6 for me. That was 6 for you. I went with the Edmonton Oilers. Again, early on in the year, they went as oil workers, right? Oil rig workers. Again, earlier in the year, I just think that since then, the other teams did enough to upstage what they did. It almost like they laid the foundation of, okay, we got to do something. I think they all know they do something close to home, something that sort of identifies with your town, but it gave them time to be upstaged.
Okay.
We're up to number 5. Your number 5 outfit for the outdoor games.
I did Vegas.
Vegas Golden Knights, the Elvis, the boy, the Elvi. I never know if, you know what, we've always said Elvi here in Vegas. Well, a lot of us, but it is Elvis's. So the plural is Elvis's. Golden Knights show up in Elvis's with Elvis wigs. You know, last year during the Stanley Cup run, they would pass off the wig after games. Sometimes you see people getting a game ball, a game puck, whatever. They would pass over the Elvis wig. So the Elvises come in at Kristy's number 5.
Yeah.
What's the reason?
It's kind of how we said before we started recording. I didn't really know what other theme they could have really went with Vegas. Some might say the Elvis thing is a little overrated, but I thought it was well done. I thought it was expected, but it was a good execution with it.
It was definitely expected. Everyone was guessing Elvis. The only other thing that they were coming up with, people were guessing, was the Rat Pack. A lot of people thought maybe they'd show up like how you'd see after a show, Sinatra, Dino, Sammy Davis. They would have their tuxes with it open, with the bow tie hanging down. So they thought maybe they could show up something along those lines. I have them higher up. Vegas, obviously, I'm here, so I won't rehash everything, but I do have them higher up. Let's get to my number 5 is the Seattle Kraken. The fishermen were cool. I did love the throwing of the fish. I thought that prop was probably, overall, if we did props, I might say that they had the best prop, just for the fact that I've been to Pike Place Market. I actually got to throw the fish. The one time I've been to Seattle was like right before COVID shut everything down, January of 2020. I bought a bunch of fish from the Pike Place Market, and I flew home that night, and it got here the next day. Phenomenal fish, but they let me throw the fish and do the whole thing. So I dug that. But again, it's sort of like that Edmonton thing. It's sort of like the Vegas thing in your eyes. For me, it's what was expected. So, but the prop was tremendous. All right, Kristy Flannery, number 4. We're in the top half.
I put the Kraken at 4, so we're kind of on the same page. And the bump for me was the prop. Like, every girl knows accessories can change an outfit, and for that reason alone, we're going with them as number 4.
Yeah, I know about the accessories because I'm always trying to jewel up, if you will, with my suits. So, all right, we are moving up to you. Your number 4 is the Kraken. My number 4. I went with the Rangers here because you're right. I mean, for sentimentality, I get it. Like, to play on that, it's sort of like a dedication. But the reality is NYPD. We've seen TV shows with NYPD Blue. We've seen the fire. It sort of relates. And so I like the fact that they wore the hockey jerseys, the actual hockey jerseys of the fire department, some of the police, and they walked out with them. So it was somewhat of a dedication, somewhat of a little bit of a tribute. But at the same time, I don't know what else you could think of outside of possibly where we're both headed to number 1 because of one area down at the end of Manhattan. Because I think it's it might be the main. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. I was going to say, when you affiliate somewhat of a nationality toward New York, but I don't know what else they could have done, and it made sense. So I gave them that. I gave them the nod because of the sentimentality on top of what we would expect. Yeah. All right, we're down to our top 3. Give me your 3.
So for my 3rd, I actually went with the Flyers. And again, was it expected? Yes. And I think I wouldn't have been overly disappointed until a reporter, and I don't know who it was, but someone pointed out that they were hoping that they showed up as Ben Franklin's, and that would have been amazing. So I think the Rocky, it was good, but knowing that it could have been Benjamin Franklin disappointed me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I guess it could have been sort of that era, right? And signing of the Declaration of Independence, all that. But I also think that we're in this age of cancel culture, and a lot of those older, figures from history I've sort of been canceled. So I wonder if it was discussed, and I wonder if they said, we might not want to go that route.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I also had them number 3. I love the fact that they showed up, fully looking with the gray sweats and their hands were taped.
The detail.
The detail, attention to detail. As long as it was Rocky 1, I'm good with it. We can't get into every single other one, even though, a lot of people don't necessarily think it was a great boxing movie. There's a lot of boxing writers, like historic boxing writers, Hall of Fame boxing writers, who think it was a horrible boxing movie, which I tend to agree with. It was a fantastic love story, more than anything, Rocky 1. So, all right, we're both on Philly for number 3. We're down to the top 2. What is Kristy's number 2 outfit for the outdoor games in the NHL?
You're not going to be happy, but I put the Oilers at 2 for the lone reason that it was bright, it was colorful, and I think it showed personality to a team where they have those star players that are not known for showing their personality. Yeah. So they did more than I thought they were going to.
Okay. I went with my hometown boys. I definitely went with the Golden Knights, doing Elvis. Just the whole get up. And then the fact was, you got to love the fact that William Karlsson comes through with the blonde locks, but Paul Cotter didn't even need a wig. And it just identified, you had to think, what are the defending champs going to do? They're on the road. Seattle's hosting it. So I kind of dug it. I got into it. And of course it's my hometown. So, beyond being a reporter, right? So, there are some reporters that are in their beat, but they're not from there. So I'm from Vegas. So I come to appreciate it. And as we talked about, they could have went the Rat Pack era. I don't think anybody's dressing up as Tony Spilotro or Frank Rosenthal and doing the mob theme. So I liked it. Which brings us to number 1, which we both agree with. Oh, wait. What do we got here in the background? Oh, yes.
This was so good. You knew that there were a couple options they could have went with. I know. See, accessory. It makes the whole thing. They could have went The Sopranos. They could have went the Bruce Springsteen route. I'm thrilled for the players that voted against that and voted for The Sopranos. They could have went a Jersey Shore route as well. But it was one of those things where I saw them get off the bus and I was like, okay, this is good. And the more I saw the photos and all the details, I said, this is perfection. Nico Hischier embodied Tony Soprano. I am Italian, so I feel like I could say it's a guinea tea without being disrespectful about it. But Nate Bastian, the guinea tea, the pinky rings, the espresso cups that had espresso actually in it, 10 out of 10, the pinky ring. They did that so well. The execution was flawless. And I really didn't want to be biased. And this is not me just being biased because I cover the team. I really thought that they embodied the whole look of the whole thing.
Yeah, they had the old school sweatsuit look, the chains,
back hair.
As you said, the tea. I'm saying guinea tea. You know what? It's a phrase. It shouldn't offend anybody. Nobody's slandering. If anything, we're boasting about it. And I agree. The Jersey Shore. Who's going to show up as Snooki or JWoww? Right? I mean, come on. We can't have Nico showing up as Sammy Sweetheart. So
right, off the bus.
I loved it. I thought it was perfect because they just celebrated the 25th anniversary, and every day for 7 straight days on HBO, starting at a certain time, they showed every episode. Mm-hmm. And if I was home that day, I had it on. I didn't watch every single episode, every single day of that. I just recently watched the series again during a cross-country road trip. I just had the phone propped up. And so if I drove 10 to 11 hours a day, I was getting through a season. And it's what got me through, the long drive. So I still love the series. I thought it was a fantastic nod to, obviously in a lot of people's eyes and critics' eyes, not even fans, just one of the, if not the greatest television show in the history of TV. The New Jersey Devils with the Sopranos, overwhelming number 1 from the both of us.
Yep.
What was the reception like from the other media members that were there from both New Jersey and Philly?
A lot of people liked The Sopranos. I was with my Philly counterpart that day, and even she said, Rocky was good. She's like, but that was better, just with the accessories and how much they really committed to it. And Heischer and Bastian did their post-game availability in the interview room in the tracksuits, which it was just hilarious to kind of just sit and watch. So it was chef's kiss.
You know what? I didn't think about that. And now I'm almost debating whether I should drop Vegas, maybe below Seattle and move everybody up and go Jersey, Philly, Rangers, Seattle, Vegas. You know why? That was one of the big knocks on Vegas was their pregame availability. The Kraken came in as fishermen. I don't know what these other teams did as their pregame, but I just know the Kraken did. And you're telling me postgame they came in. So afterwards they got back in Vegas. Once they wore the Elvis, they walked in. That was it. We never saw it again. They didn't even do their pregame availability. You know what? You said I reserved the right for you, or you reserved the right to change your rankings, and you didn't. I'm changing it. I'm dropping Vegas, my own home team. Now that you bring that up, I'm dropping them down to 5. I'm going New Jersey, Philly, Rangers, Seattle, Vegas, Edmonton, Calgary, and the Islanders. So there you have it.
The outfits add there's a fun joy to it, and even waiting for the buses to arrive, the fans were kind of guessing what they were going to be, and it just adds this really fun element. And I think for a lot of hockey fans, all they want is to see more personality from the players. So when you asked me to rank this, I tried to kind of look at the whole idea of the post game and all that kind of stuff, because that's what makes it for the fans. It's seeing that fun personality and how creative these guys can get.
Now, when Vegas played, I know that was the big guess was Elvis, right? I don't know what the guesses were for any of the other teams. Was Sopranos on the list of guesses for a lot of people?
Yes, and Tyler Toffoli did an interview Friday after practice, and they asked about it, and he said that nobody was going to be surprised. It was but it's like kind of, I think it was Heischer that said it, or maybe it was Bastian. Even what they did exceeded their expectations. Like, they didn't think it was going to look as good as it did. I mean, some of them had the velour tracksuits, so that was bringing it back. I said, amazing.
I came close to we've been talking all day to film this, and I got home from the gym and I texted you and I was like, hey, I'm gonna run by and grab a slice of pizza because I got to have a prop. But I'm still from the gym. Otherwise, I have a velour sweatsuit that I bought 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, but it's a designer one from my tailor where I get my suits. And I think I've worn it twice, but I was really tempted to throw it on to go with the chain and the jewelry and everything. But I didn't want to funk it up.
It would have been just so iconic. I mean, it would have had a spoiler alert aspect to it, but it would have been iconic.
Yeah, I think everybody knew what page we were on. All right, Kristy, I appreciate it. I don't even want to talk hockey. I think this was perfect because, because I'll have you back on. Last time we talked, the Devils were a little bit of a funk, I believe. Looks like they're coming out of it. So I think that we're going to have you on to talk some hockey as we get closer. Obviously, you're one of my faves, so I got to have you on to talk the Devils as we keep going. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the as we call it on air out here, the SO, the significant other, when you get out to Vegas. So hopefully you make that trip, and I really appreciate it. We had some fun today ranking the outfits from the outdoor games in the 2023-24 season, the Professional Hockey Writers Association, as we bring you in the box and get to know these writers a little bit better. Kristy Flannery from the Hockey News. Make sure you follow her in stilettos _NHL.
Thank you.